These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
You're too shy, hush, hush, eye to eye. You're too shy, hush, hush, eye to eye. Too shy.
These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 40 of America's Barley Basket. Sitting next to me is our host, Marlin Wells.
Hello, Nathan. Since you didn't introduce yourself, I will. That's Nathan Folsebach. How's it going?
Oh, hey, yeah. I goofed. You know what it is. You know what it is, Marlin. It's the fact that I have modern medicine coursing through my veins right now.
Yeah, you're all vaxxed up, buddy.
Double dip the dirty vax. I got it. It is all those nanoparticles, all of my dirtiest thoughts going right to Hillary Clinton's emails. All the nanoparticles, they are online. I can feel it all. She's reading it and she is into it.
You're tapping into servers. You're uploading, downloading. You got a good ping. I got a fun Wi-Fi handle. It's like, oh, my FBI surveillance. What in the world? Oh. What a goofy name for your router. We have fun. We have fun around here.
We sure do.
That's the recording a fun outgoing answering machine message of our age is having a fun name for your Wi-Fi network.
For like a decade, my answering machine message was just me holding my flip phone up to that episode of Seinfeld where George has the novelty. So it's not even my own name. It's George. It's like, do, believe it or not, George is not at home. Like, that's so lazy.
I have never seen that episode. I haven't seen much Seinfeld.
It's a good one. I mean, there are a lot of bangers in the Seinfeld canon, but
yeah, someday it's on the to-do list. But
it's like show 47 on the list of 100 shows I've been told I need to see.
Yeah, same here. There's a fucking lot of them, to be sure. I don't know if you know this, Nathan, but I wanted to take a moment to welcome all of our Ohio listeners, because Ohio has been going hard on the subscriptions and the downloads in the paint.
Oh, well done.
That's the worst way I could have said that. We got there's been a lot of downloads from Ohio lately. That's the proper way to say that.
Welcome, Ohio. We are both huge Slipknot fans.
That's Iowa, but that's all right.
Oh, okay. There we go. Ohio, we have Marge Schott, the virulent racist former owner of the Cincinnati Reds. I'm sure she's something that they, oof. Golly.
We're big fans of your caucus.
Yeah. That's something that, yeah. Oh, the Ohio Players, I think they sang Love Roller Coaster.
Okay.
So there we go. I mean, for all I know, they're not from Ohio, but by God, they got it in their name.
I prefer the Red Hot Chili Peppers version, but sure. Okay, Ohio Players.
I remember thinking that Ohio must be just this metropolis of a state that's just endless skyscrapers, because they had Cleveland and Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And if you're a city that had a football team, I just thought you were New York City. I just thought it was just, yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. If you have a professional sports team, you must be enormous. So
the only time I spent a very drunk night in Cincinnati at a bar called Madonna's, which, if you're in Cincinnati, cannot recommend it enough. It is. I mean, you're going to get tetanus, but you're going to have a good story to tell. Like, it's that kind of bar. You, Marlin, as a Dakota thickie, I think is the term we came up with. You need to go in there and look in that men's room sometime and just do the math, do the geometry in your head it's going to take to get your body to fit in there, because it is. I'm trying to. I don't know my geometric. I think it's a trapezoid or a rhombus. It's. At its widest, it's 1.5 feet. Well, no, it's probably like 2.5 by 1.5 by 6 inches. So you just have to like fling yourself at a tiny gap, and you're gonna lose one love handle, if not two. And definitely smaller than an airport bathroom. And I think there's like a pipe that's running from the ceiling, so the door just cannot close.
Oh, perfect.
So it's just you pissing, probably against a wall, because you can't even turn to face the toilet. And you have to have a stranger pull your pants up for you.
I love it. I will.
It's just like a way for you. It's a way for you to glimpse your future.
I will make sure.
This is the road I'm going down.
I'll make sure to mark Madonna's on my must visits of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I remember that whole list is now just Madonna's and the statue from the opening credits of WKRP. Like, that's it. That's all I know.
I know the guy that carted us. He's like, North Dakota, South Dakota, are you guys here to overthrow the government or something? I'm glad that's the image that we paint in people's heads. So there's all militia members, which I mean, well, if you looked at the voting records,
it's, they're not that far off, really. I don't think. Well, I'll make sure to visit. If anyone's been to Madonna's or is a big fan of Madonna's in Cincinnati, among our new Ohioan, is that the adjective version?
I think so.
Okay.
Or I think even if you like Madonna's music and you just want to just chat about that, one of us will get back to you.
Oh yeah, if you want to talk about Madonna, I will talk about Madonna.
Favorite Madonna song? Like Take a Bow.
Huh.
I like Take a Bow. It's a mid-90s.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Mine is Like a Prayer, which might be a kind of a basic bitch answer, but it is the number one for me.
Hey, you got to listen to your heart.
Mm-hmm. And I do. So, welcome, Ohioans. Not sure how you heard of us, but glad to have you. And as we do every week, this week we have Simpsons to talk about, starting with, we are on the tail end of Season 9 here, Episode 19, Simpson Tide. And my very first note says, what is going on with this intro?
Yeah, I don't know, have we ever seen anything this, involved so far for a couch gag?
I kind of don't even remember what it was. My note just says, what is this intro?
I think it's like a callback or a throwback to the intro to Rocky and Bullwinkle, like the animation that I think that's what it is. It's some 70s cartoon. I'm pretty sure it's Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Okay. I remember it being pretty involved and me not getting it. I do know that some of the Simpsons intros do get fairly involved and have occasionally guest animators, which is cool. So maybe we're creeping into that kind of thing where we're getting some more esoteric intros.
As I've discussed too, I worry about more effort getting put into the intros and less effort getting put into the goddamn episodes.
It'll be fine.
But hey, new batch, new positivity. That's what I always say.
Yep, come correct. You're vaxxed up. You got no reason to be grumpy anymore.
Yeah, until I get the fever squirts and ruin the bedding on this luxurious bed I'm lying on. They don't tell you about that. Fauci don't talk about the fever squirts.
Oh, man, that's... so I can't see you, so I never know what kind of state you're in when we're recording these.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'd say, close to end stage Brian Wilson circa 1970, where I am propped up in a bed. Not good posture at all. Shin against chest, laptop on tummy. I have my mic set on a bedside stand right by my face. I'm just kind of leaning over, talking into that while looking at my notes. I have a coffee in one hand. I have a water, but I'm very hydrated because I'm thinking if I get those fever squirts, I don't want to be chucking logs in bed. I want to just dab it with a napkin and be done with it. I want to be shooting steam. I want the fever to get hot enough that I'm just spraying steam.
Oh boy.
So I was thinking I should have made like a makeshift diaper out of tidy whities and Dairy Queen napkins, but Didn't have time to grab my pre-show blizzard.
Just the least professional setup that you could have. I've got socks on. I'm sitting upright at a desk. I have a water, and you're over there just barely holding it together.
I think of myself as like the muse of the podcast. I just states of undress. But usually muses are young and attractive women. Yep. I am the rapidly declining middle-aged man. Decline says that at some point I was at a higher peak. I don't know if I've ever declined. I've just been started in the gutter. Look where we're at now. Also, the gutter.
You're like the Culver's Dennis Rodman of this team. You're just this half-melted, custardy mess, but at the end of the day, we let you just do what you want because in the end, you perform.
The formula works.
Yeah, I'm just Phil Jackson over here. Just, hey, let him go to Vegas as long as he's hitting the boards. As long as we get the worm come game time, I don't care what he's doing off the court. Except instead of, shoving 3 pounds of blow up your face in Las Vegas over the weekend, you're laying there like you're in hospice.
I'm kind of starting to feel it for our scientific friends out there. So as the podcast goes on, you're going to see the de-evolution of what the scamdemic, as I like to call the Fauci-fueled hysteria, where the Bill Gates gets to shove his go-go juice deep inside you. And I am... Thanks a lot, Sheeple. Here's where we're at.
I'm excited for this live look at side effects and what happens to you.
When I'm feeling confident right now. The O-ring is taut, but as the heat increases, the O-ring will lose its...
Well, yeah, like anything that relies on elasticity, heat is going to loosen it up. And
then that's when the literal floodgates...
It's a muscle like any other. It'll turn on you.
Yeah, that's when things are going to get sloppy.
Well, I look forward to an hour from now when we all just get to hear, oh, hang on, we got to pause the show for a minute.
Yeah, delicately pick up each corner of the mattress cover and tie it like a bindle full of poo-poo. And leave it in the sun to marinate.
I look forward to our social media promos for the rest of the week. Like, tune in this week. Nathan makes a boom boom live on the air.
And I'm going to study that dookie. And the scientific results I'm going to release on OAN Network. And it is going to blow the top off of this scandemic.
You with your shoulder gloves on, just digging through it like Laura Dern in the Triceratops shit.
How many keychains are in here? What's going on? It's like we cut open the belly of a bull shark. Is this a novelty license plate?
That's a Mario keychain that still says Wahoo when you squeeze him.
Yeah. He is not even chewing most of this stuff. That's a lot of bottle caps.
Still keys on it. Oh, God. So Homer's asleep at work having a dream about Donut Planet, which I really enjoyed, where he's on trial for eating like half the population of Donut Planet and is sentenced to death because his donut lawyer can't defend him properly, and then is eaten by a giant donut.
Like, is Homer kind of like the Galactus of this Donut Planet world, but he has been defeated?
I am not sure. I don't know if this is specifically referencing anything or not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, now you say that, yeah. It's just for goofs. Yeah. Not everything has to be a goddamn nerdgasm.
Not everything has to be connected cinematic universe. We can just have a joke.
We can do things. We can have fun.
And so we cut to Lenny and Carl waking up Homer from his donut dream because it's break time. They head to the break room, and There's one donut left, which Homer has already drooled on. Homer has the idea, throw the donut into the reactor core in order to make the donut huge, and then we can all share this enormous donut. It smash cuts to 10 minutes later of the reactor being on fire and them... the fire department getting everything put out, and Smithers, by the way, what is his job description? Because in this scene, he's got a hazmat suit on, digging through the burning wreckage of this reactor core, pulling out a scorched donut from the reactor core.
I think we can safely say he does not get paid enough.
No.
He lives in an apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Smithers' house should be bigger than the Simpson house with what he has to deal with.
Absolutely, yeah.
Homer is fired for putting a donut in the reactor core, of course. Decides after seeing an ad on television that he's going to join the Naval Reserves, and boy, that television ad is real good. Like, you only work 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, and you'll be drunk for most of it. It's so good. They portray the reserves as just these pot-bellied drunk dads.
Yeah, like the movie Stripes was like a documentary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just lots of horseplay.
Yeah, they're all John Candy and Stripes.
I think I've asked you this, but did the service ever cross your mind as a young man?
No, not once.
I'm with you.
I couldn't handle it physically. There's no way. B, I don't have the temperament for it. I don't have the war face for it.
Yeah.
And C, I've never worked at a job where I have to wear a uniform because that would piss me off. So, like, being in the military, not gonna be a thing for me.
Or like my thing too is like that commitment, like a 3-year or 4 year. It's like, what? Like, why? I got to do this? Like, I got to keep wearing this outfit? No, there's other things I'd rather do. Like, so yeah, they'd struggle. And then, of course, also, there's no way on God's green earth I could pass any kind of... I've heard that they keep lowering the bar because, they need more bodies for the war machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're starting to take a few more butter chunks in.
Yeah, plus, like the way my mind works, so much of it would never, like, fly with me, where it's like, all right, day one at basic training, we're going to cut all your hair off. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, so no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, things like that, like, oh, you didn't straighten your belt out right, 20 push-ups. No, because those two don't correlate with each other. One is not a causality of the other. Like, so the military does not make sense for me.
I think that drill sergeant is just jealous that he doesn't have naturally curly hair.
Yeah, exactly. And I am just Lyle loving it over here, and I won't have anybody barking at me.
I think this is a you thing, sir.
That's the other thing. You're a maggot. You didn't make your bed. I'm right here. You don't have to shout. There's not a reason. Like, what are you compensating for? Like, I'd be thrown out immediately. I would never make it.
Reason we're being so rude right now? Is there something we should be discussing? Did I do something to you earlier that's just coming out now?
Where's this anger coming from? Sarge, I want you to tell me about your dad.
Let's lay down. Come on, have a seat.
For no reason, Barney and Apu and Mo all join in as well. So the four of them all join Homer, and they join up in the Naval Reserves.
I have a note. I bet this episode chaps the buns of the Simpsons fans that hate the things are getting way off the rails reality wise.
Yeah, occasionally when one of these types pops up where it's like a big thing, it's like, oh, I bet there's a portion of the crowd that hates this. But there's always going to be a portion of every crowd that hates anything, so fuck them. Yeah,
this is true.
I have a note here that bald Barney looks weird. I don't like when they all get haircuts, and I don't like bald Barney. I don't really care for bald Apu either, but there's something about Barney, like, nope, you shouldn't have that haircut at all.
I did like, too, when they were all the other secondary people were getting casted, and they're talking to Mo, and they have to commit their crimes. It involves a Russian roulette game in the back of the bar.
Yeah.
I love that it's Principal Skinner and Krusty playing. That's who's involved in the game.
Yeah, those are the two having their deer hunter scene down there.
Yeah.
Homer and the boys, they all bumble their way through basic. There's a couple of good jokes in there. We get to see Milhouse with an earring, who I am super into earring Milhouse. The confidence that oozes out of earring Milhouse is so good.
Did you get an earring, or do you remember wanting one when you were a kid?
No, I never did, and I don't think wanting one has ever really flared up in my mind.
Yeah. I remember in the late 90s thinking I should get an eyebrow ring. And then I remember looking in the mirror at my gigantic head. Just, I don't know what. You know me, 3.5 human heads put together, probably. Roughly.
Easily.
Do you want to put shiny metal that draws attention to that? There we go. That's what you need.
I could see
stuff that'll glint in the sunlight.
I could see you rocking an eyebrow ring even today.
Yeah.
I think you should chase that dream.
Anyway, it's 1999. White Pony just came out. I got a fresh pair of Airwalks on. Yeah, let's complete the look.
Yeah, I could see you with a lip ring too, like a bottom lip hoop.
Yeah, I don't like messing with lips. As we had a very harrowing discussion of my mouth issues off mic. I suffer from many a mouth malady. I don't like things messing with my mouth or lips.
Fair enough.
Should we get into it? Do they need to hear this?
I don't think so. I don't think that's necessary whatsoever.
That's some spicy, not even in a sexual, I mean more of a medicinal, home medicinal cures.
Honestly, I think that you...
Home surgery is what it is.
Honestly, I am 99% sure that your inflamed taste bud talk has come up on this podcast before, so they've heard it.
Okay, so we got a few disciples then. They're pro removing your own growths with a fingernail clipper.
In a parking lot. Ooh, boy.
You got the mirror right there. You're seated comfortably. It's a perfect spot to do home surgery.
I love that Milhouse with his new earring can't shut the gate fast enough, and he lets slip that he thinks Marge is hot. I don't know why, but there's something about that really got a hold of me. Like, oh, my mom wears... Bart's giving him shit for having an earring. Well, my mom wears earrings. You think she's cool? No, I think she's hot. Like, whoop. Wrangle that one back in there, Milhouse.
Yeah. I think right before that there's like a joke about Starbucks is popping up everywhere.
That's coming up here. But yes,
okay.
But yes, it's an extremely 1998 joke.
But I was shocked that was already a thing in 1998. Like, I guess we also live on the moon, so it takes a while for things. Like, there sure weren't a lot of Starbucks in North Dakota in 1998.
Right.
But apparently they were crushing it on the coasts already.
Yeah, we're the last to get anything, so our Starbucks across from another Starbucks jokes didn't come for years later. But... they show Homer at a show with the reserves don't get Bob Hope. They get Bob Denver and Gilligan.
Yeah.
Which I thought
was nice.
A funny touch. Like, oh, the reserves don't get Bob Hope. Then yes, we get our Starbucks joke as Bart is walking through the mall to get his ear pierced, where like every other store is a Starbucks, and then at the end when it does pan back, like every store is a Starbucks. Bart went instead of with the ring, the hoop, went with just the diamond stud, which I think is the route I would go if I were ever to go this route.
I think so. It's more tasteful.
Yeah. So Bart shows up to school like, yeah, I'm gonna... Well, first he comes home and Homer is not impressed with this earring. Classic 90s dad, not into his son having an earring. Pretty sure I was told on more than one occasion that if I ever came home with one, I would have it yanked out with the pliers, like every dad said out here, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't think mine would have cared, because in his head, everything I did was nonsense. So, like, there was no sliding scale.
Every-
like wearing tennis shoes was the equivalent of having an earring. It was all just ridiculous nonsense. Like, Hootie and the Blowfish was the same as Slayer. It was just everything. It was all noise. It was all nonsense.
There were no degrees of crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. So, everything was a head shake.
Bart, thinking that he's going to be one of the cool kids now, shows up at school, and literally everyone has an earring.
Yeah. You ever have an experience like that? I sure fucking did.
Of like, oh, I'm going to also be cool, and then everyone has it? No, I don't think so.
Well, the few times in my life I paid for, like, high-end clothing, as I paid like $130 goddamn dollars for a pair of Doc Martens. I'm like, oh fuck, man, this is it. Like, this is something I'm gonna be like. Well, and then I show up to school every goddamn. I find out they're selling them at like the cattle implement store in town, like where you would buy like Carhartt coveralls. Now with Doc Martens, like, you sons of bitches. This was my one chance.
I don't think I ever, other than like. I'm trying to think. Probably the only fad I jumped in on in high school was I got a yo-yo when yo-yos became extremely cool at my high school. Where
in high school, yo-yos were cool?
All of a sudden, everybody had a fucking yo-yo in their pocket. And not like a dime store yo-yo, but like the ones
like
with the mechanics inside of them, like that you have to oil every couple of days.
That's wild, man. That would have, like, a kid would have had life-altering, like, therapy-needing amounts of verbal and emotional and physical abuse heaped on them for having the nerve to do something that's not normal. No. How dare you enjoy something that the rest of us think is silly?
No, it was, I'm going to guess, probably sophomore or junior year of high school. If you didn't have a yo-yo, you were one of the weird kids. So
that reminds me of, like, when we were third graders, there became a time when collecting stamps was really cool.
Which is baffling to me.
We were 8. Like, we were easily swayed.
I like that Ralphie's earring is stuck to his shirt. Such a great Ralphie, just quick joke with Ralphie of his earring stuck to his shirt. My neck hurts and my ear hurts. Oh, God, Ralphie, never change. Homer's taken off on a nuclear submarine in order to be. He's chosen for the mission because he has, experience working at the nuclear plant. On the dock, as they're saying goodbye, Bart just gives Homer the earring because Homer doesn't like it, and now Bart doesn't either because everyone has one. So he gives it to Homer. That comes into play later. I love that the captain of this submarine is named Captain Tennille. That is
that was a
perfect.
Nice touch. Yeah.
And the captain and Homer kind of get to bonding over dinner that night down in the sub, kind of accidentally. The captain thinks they're talking about the same thing, and they're not. But anyway, it ends up with the captain putting Homer in charge of things as he goes off to examine a problem with one of the torpedo ports. Turns out it's full of beer and junk food, contraband. And so he goes in there to clean that out, and leaves Homer in charge. But Homer, upon seeing an approaching sub, fires the torpedoes and launches the captain into the side of the enemy torpedo, or submarine. Which was funny because it makes like a Wile E. Coyote imprint upon the side of the sub when it hits.
I thought that was a good visual gag.
And Homer, being a dope, being a complete idiot, takes the sub out to Russian waters, and it is assumed that Homer is treasonous, that Homer has jumped sides to Russia, who we find out is still the USSR. We cut to the UN, and they're like, the Russian diplomat lets the phrase Soviet Union slip, and he's like, I thought you guys broke up, but it turns out not. And there's like a Russian parade full of teddy bears, but then they all stop and tanks come out, the wall goes back up, and Lenin comes back to life. We have like Franken-Lenin busting out of
from his tomb.
Yep. Yeah. Oh god, it's good. The submarine, I forget how. Oh, it gets depth charged and is taken on water. Homer runs down there and plugs the hole with the earring because there's nothing else that could have plugged the hole. So
and I know it wouldn't be complete without me bitching about the quality of one of these episodes. There's a scene where Moe is kind of almost kind of like the right-hand man, like he's who Homer's given the commands to.
Yeah.
And there's Homer gives some dumb command and Moe's like, aye, aye, you big dummy. And then just goes, what a dummy again. It's just like, that's such lazy, pointless, boring writing. It's like, God damn it, you guys.
Yeah.
And then later, there's a joke that Grandpa makes about being a porn star, and it's just so hack. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, there were a couple jokes in this batch. That Mo one certainly struck me as like, this feels like a placeholder joke that you guys
like a mistake
meant to come
like
back to.
Yeah, like an editing error. Like, oh, they probably meant to cover this up. But like, ugh, yeah. I'm really sucking the energy out of these.
The subsurfaces, and they're surrounded by several different countries, and they take Homer in for some manner of tribunal, and he's let off the hook because all of the tribunal officers are also under indictments. I thought that was a good joke, just a quick stab at like, well, I can't say you're guilty because I'm under investigation for doing this. And they do that a few times. And then Homer's just left standing there by himself with the janitor, and he's like, well, I guess you're off the hook.
And that janitor just looked like Gil with mustache and glasses, because I enjoy Gil.
Yeah. Oh, boy, do we get a Gil later on.
Coming up.
Ooh, boy.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like, I think they mentioned, like, the button hook scandal. I forgot about that. Yeah, there were some random things that came up in this one that I had completely forgotten about when they were a big part of, the news.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because it's just another, like, look how different it is today, where it's like, now we don't care. You can still be completely in power and in authority no matter what you do. So It's amusing that, like, that's funny that they wouldn't let these people be on a tribunal because they're being investigated for things.
What a bunch of... Why are they so uptight?
Yeah.
Just let them be animals, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, we just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of all the congressmen selling stock before the Rona hit.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh,
good times.
Burn them all.
What a different America.
Yeah. We've grown so much.
But all in all, that was a big episode of The Simpsons, like a Homer in Space or a Family Goes to Australia, which aren't my favorite, but I was still fine with it.
Yeah. I think I was maybe a little more down than you were, but I was engaged, at least.
I was more into the front half than the back half. I was into the setup more than I was the goofy shit once we're on the submarine. So
I will say the same thing about the next episode, which I may as well introduce, The Trouble with Trillions. I think, though, this is, I'll be more favorable. I'd say the first 80% of this I was into, and then that part, which we'll discuss later, that was kind of almost felt tacked on. I wasn't as much into, but
I feel like I know where your split was. So.
Yep, I think you do too. So this episode starts with New Year's, and the whole community's out watching the New Year's ball drop at like City Hall, and it like malfunctions, and Chief Wiggum dumps a clip into it because, by God, they ain't ruining New Year's Eve on his watch. And that's how the kind of the episode
opens fire on the ball,
and just the huge celebratory cheer, like, hey, Wiggum did it right this time.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, too. This episode, I'm assuming, you could maybe correct me, probably aired around New Year's Eve of 97.
I'm looking at the release schedule, and this was an April 5th, 98 episode.
What the hell?
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. If you think about the way these air, like Treehouse of Horror is always at the beginning of the season, so January being at the end of the season doesn't make a lick of sense. But it's
yeah, exactly. That's why, yeah.
And Simpsons, other than Halloween, so rarely touch on holidays that it was.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, as you mentioned, I never really thought of it, but you are totally right. Yeah,
it was odd to see them celebrating a holiday. We don't see it often.
Yeah, a holiday I often find overrated is New Year's.
I mean, it's usually the comedy gigs usually pay pretty well, but they're also usually not great shows because everyone's been drinking for 7 hours.
And then pre-joke telling, it's almost like there's too much hype behind it. Like it can't live up. But as I thought in 1997, I had a very memorable New Year's Eve. I was a child, but drinking pretty hard. And I went to a very fun house party. Like, this is really, we're going to have a fun New Year's. Or something. Like a buddy of mine that was just out of high school had a shitty rental house. And it was really, it was a banger, as the kids say today. And your old buddy Nate went a little too hard in the paint.
Boy.
I vaguely remember about 9 to 10 o'clock, and that's when the curtains started shutting. I wake up in a bathtub later. It's like I find out only 11:30. I thought it was like 7 a.m. I wake up. I'm like, what the hell? And I look. I find a clock on the wall. Like, oh, it's not even midnight yet. House is empty except for some random teenage girl screaming at her boyfriend on the landline. So I'm like, where's everyone at? And she's just bawling. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get any answers from this. And to this day, I've never found out what the cops must not have shown up, or they just had pity on me, or didn't want to touch me because God knows what I was covered in. But that was a mysterious New Year's.
I don't know that I've ever had like a New Year's rager. I don't think I have. I think most of my New Year's are either, the past like 5 or 6 years done doing comedy or just kind of chilling. New Year's was always a big thing when I was a kid. We had, like when you're a kid, there's the one other family where it's like, okay, these two families are friends. So we would always spend New Year's together with that family when I was in my youth.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
like
so my dad and that dad went to high school together, and my mom and that mom went to high school together. So they'd kind of all been friends forever.
Interesting.
And then I became friends with their two kids. So like the two families did a lot of celebrating together, and New Year's was one of those.
See, our tradition was my folks would always go out, which was awesome because that meant we got to stay at Grandma's house, and Grandma's house always ruled. And our thing was we'd always watch, me and my grandma would watch Porky's. They'd show all 3 Porky's movies on the USA Network, and we'd usually at some point have Coke floats and a foot bath. A lot of foot baths at Grandma's house.
Oh, boy.
I think the idea of like a 7-year-old, how much dry skin is on the feet of a 7-year-old? Like, you got prime feet at 7.
You've been 80 years old since you were 8.
I am 75 to 95% sassy empty nester mom. 2 desserts, why not?
Our New Year's Eve parties between our two families were always just like, it was either at our house or their house, and it was like, a good supper, and then, the adults are drinking punch, and the dads are drinking brandy, and the kids are playing Sega, like, until midnight comes, and then we all go home.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, my folks are always a go out because I always like the next day. One of them would always remember to stuff some of like the noisemakers in their pockets so me and my brother could play with, which I'm sure they regretted the next day when they were viciously hungover and us two maniacs are running around the house with noisemakers.
Just hooting and hollering.
Yeah. I'm sure we were pushed outside into some very sub-zero weather to run off some energy, have a moment of silence in their trailer house.
Yeah,
That did remind me too that was the New Year's Eve blackout. I had a very similar blackout right around maybe the next year, where I remember when I first had my own rental place. I was like 18. I had a party. I pass out. I wake up. There is a 10-on-10 street fight in my front yard. I only know one person involved. Like, who? And then it's a small town. Like, who are the rest of you? Like, still never have got answers on what was going on. I think I just walked away from that lease.
I think you maybe stay in on New Year's from now on.
Yeah. No, that was just a random night. The one thing I remember is the next morning I had to take my ACT test, probably still 0.20 drunk. And I remember I got up halfway through and the lady was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you have to stay." I'm like, "Ma'am, you do not realize what will happen if I stay seated. I am going to go disembowel myself in your bathroom. The vomitorium has started." And I remember I came back and she's like, "Yeah, man, we had to hand it in like halfway undone." Like, "Ma'am, did you see the first half? It's not like I was killing it." Look how much I'm shaking right now. Like, do you think I prepped for this? Like,
Ma'am, I want you to go inspect that bathroom and then tell me whether or not I deserve to have that test back. Okay?
Yeah. I shouldn't be in here right now.
Oh, God.
So New Year's, they're all having a blast. But then for some reason, it becomes a tax thing. Apparently taxes are due January 1st.
Well,
Am I missing a plot point?
January 1st is the first day you can file. January 1 to April 15th. So it cuts to Ned Flanders being woken up by the fireworks going, "Oh, it's January 1st," and doing his taxes.
Yeah.
Like, excitedly.
Ned has a very good attitude regarding taxes. I'll say that right now. He knows that with taxes, we pay for a well-functioning society.
Yep. I love that he won't let himself deduct something for work that's, I think it's like his stamp ink or something that he uses at the leftorium. He's like, "Oh, that's a work expense. I can deduct that," but then stops himself like, "Oh, I do enjoy the smell of it though." Like, because he enjoys it, he won't let himself deduct it. Oh, God. I'm the same way with taxes. I feel like everyone around me ever has always been like, "No, you got to do whatever you can to get every dime back." It's like, I'm fine paying taxes because, frankly, we need taxes. Like, I'm fine paying my fair share. I don't have to try to swindle an extra dollar here and there.
What I don't get, why is Homer works a 9 to 5? His taxes are a slam dunk. Why is he looking around for like what are you deducting from? Like,
just take the standard deduction.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, your taxes beginning to end 45 minutes tops.
Yep.
Like, it makes no sense. Like that's the beauty. One of the few things about a 9 to 5, tax time is a breeze.
Yeah, put in your fill out your W-2 and how many kids you got, and you're out the door.
Yeah.
But
maybe the interest you pay on your house, your mortgage, done.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it.
Like, maybe it was harder back then. Like, I do my own taxes because mine are also very simple, and that's just like that's 30 minutes with TurboTax, just like,
yep,
out the door, I'm done.
This did remind me of what it was like to mail taxes. I kind of forgot about that. That was, first 10 years of my life was mailed.
Yeah, that's, God, what a weird thing that must have been.
Stamps. Okay. I might go to prison because I forgot to buy stamps. This is great. Oh, man. There's... I know I am salty about the episodes, so they're not good, but holy, there was a joke in the bar coming up here that just killed me. It's all the barflies sitting around. They're talking about like if they had one wish. And they're talking about like this. And Lenny's wish was, "I wish I knew what it felt like to wear something ironed." I almost fucking died. The way he says it and the way everyone else kind of like reflects on it. Like, yeah, I think Mosek, I was going to say spend the night with Joey Heatherton or whatever this woman's name was. But I think you're right. I want to know what it feels like to wear something ironed.
Yep. His answer overwrote everything that they had in their heads.
Yep. So good. So Homer, of course, puts it off the last second. He rushes to get it in. He does get it in right at the lick of time, but he ends up getting audited, and he lied on a bunch of stuff. So he is in trouble, and we get a wonderful Gil appearance.
Continuing to just
Gil
be
get a lick?
Continuing to just be Jack Lemmon from Glengarry Glen Ross. I love that character so much.
Yep.
Like, poor
Why
Gil.
doesn't Gil get a lick? When does Gil get a lick?
Put in a good word for Gil.
Yeah. Homer was caught cheating his taxes, so they decide he's going to be a snitch, which Homer is a morally corrupt man, does not bother him. And this is where the scene comes up in the bar with the ironing discussion, because he's eavesdropping on his goddamn friends with a recorder to see if he can nail any of them. And there's the one guy at the bar that apparently has a militia. And his thing is, that'll teach him to drag their feet on high-def TV, which, again, 1998? Jesus, I didn't know such a thing existed then.
Yeah, no, we were way behind.
Yeah.
I think I bought my first HD TV in probably, I'm going to say 2007.
I was probably like 2009 or 10, I think, yeah. So Homer is unsuccessful in getting any of his friends in trouble besides the militia guy, but they want him to go after the big fish. They want him to go after Montgomery Burns, who in post-World War II was supposed to fly $1 trillion bill to Europe to help with the Marshall Plan. But as a small government man, a Republican, he decides to keep that $1 trillion bill because he doesn't think the Europeans deserve it. And he's kept it in secrecy all this time. They finally think they have a way in, and they use Homer as their in, since he works at the power plant.
There's a couple amazing jokes here, like Homer and the G-Man have their little meeting in the photo booth where they get briefed on the history of what's going on, and when they open the curtain to the photo booth and Milhouse is in there muscle posing with no shirt on, and he just goes, "My shirt fell off," and goes trotting away. Holy shit! Oh, Milhouse.
This episode reminded me of I didn't know it, but I thought this is one of the few episodes lately where there's so many good jokes that I forget about them. Like you just remind. I was like, God damn right, that was good. Like there was multiple LOLs in this episode.
What is easily my favorite joke of the week, and probably my favorite joke in the last several weeks, is the G-Man is explaining to Homer, we need you to get in there and go into Burns' house and try to find the $1 trillion bill. All we've been able to ascertain from satellite photos is that it's not on the roof. Fuck.
His matter-of-fact delivery of that is so good.
I paused, I rewound, I watched it again, I died laughing again. Yeah, just flat. All we can ascertain is from satellite photos is that it's not on the roof.
Just matter-of-fact. Holy, that was good.
That is a perfect joke. I was dying laughing.
Or I even liked in the photo booth when they leave and Apu and his wife sit in and they say cheese in that video, that top secret video starts playing again. Another great joke. This video will self-destruct if not stored properly because film degrades. Such a great, man. Like this was a very good episode.
Yeah, that was chock full. Yeah, the key password to utter to get the film to start is cheese, and it's in a photo booth. Fuck.
So Homer is able to get into Burns' mansion, and Burns right away wants to sick the dogs on him, but ends up thinking he's from Collier's magazine, which I do not know how long it's been since Collier's went out of business, but I think it was
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah. So he's giving him a tour of the place, and he sees the $1 trillion bill, which he keeps in his breast pocket.
when he's sitting there before he assumes that he's from Collier's, and he goes, "Hang on, let me get something to scald you with," because the dogs don't work.
Yeah.
So he's just fills a pot of water and sets it on the stove, and they're chit-chatting back and forth for a while, and then he grabs it and throws it on Homer, and Homer's like, "Nope, still cold." And Burns has to be polite and be like, "Well, I'll go get you a towel," and wanders like just this like casual, "I'm going to kill you because you're an intruder." God damn it.
So great.
Mr. Burns is so good.
So Homer's the plan works. So the G-men burst through the door. They're hauling him away, and while he goes away, he's a lot of righteous indignation. He's screaming about, like this is for everyone that doesn't want the government running things and everyone getting everyone's business and
really spewing some heavy libertarianism.
Yeah, no good foreigners and stuff like that. And of course, Homer's a dope. It speaks to him, and Homer ends up pulling the rug out from under, and it perfectly works that both of the FBI agents face plant into the door jamb, which would knock your ass out. So he grabs Burns, and they go on the lam. And I don't know how. Oh, go ahead.
When they're in the Burns's like Hall of Patriotism, where he has like a museum set up to his own ancestors with these big displays, and there's one of like a Burns ancestor throwing the tea off of the ship into the Boston Harbor, and he said something along the lines of and there's my great-great-grandpa so-and-so throwing that tea off without any regard for the Fenway flounder. And Homer goes, "Is that a fish?" And Burns says, "It was." And then they just move
keeps going.
Just the chipper attitude of "it was."
So now they're on the lam. Well, it's Smithers, Burns, and Homer are on the lam, and word gets out what's going on. And the Simpsons, the rest of the family, find out what Homer's up to, and they find out that they are apparently trillionaires now. And I love that Lisa is like, because they're talking about moving to Cuba. It's like, who needs college? We're trillionaires. Let's get dune buggies. It's like, man, the power of money. Even if little Lisa can be swayed not to go to college.
Yeah, even Lisa. It's like her pony weakness.
Yep, the good point. Ponies and dune buggies, and then that one teen idol, Corey.
Oh yes, she loves Corey. That is true.
We haven't seen Corey in a hot minute,
or any of the non-threatening boys. We haven't. It's been a while.
Non-threatening Boys magazine. Yeah, and I think it was the last episode. She's reading Junior Skeptic magazine.
Yep. When they're making their run for it in that old-timey car, and they cut to Wiggins sitting, feet propped up, lazy cop sitting in his car waiting to catch speeders, and it comes across the radio, "We got a maroon 1936 Stutz Bearcat, all points bulletin," and it drives past, and Wiggins pops to attention for a second and goes, "It's really more of a burgundy," and reclines back again.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
A 1936 Stutz Bearcat. Real car, by the way. That is that car.
Yeah. And there's another good car gag, too, when they're when they do end up landing in Cuba. Where it's, because Cuba hasn't had any new cars since the revolution. And that taxi picks him up, and Burns pats the, yes, I've heard good things about this new Packard model.
The new Packards we've been hearing about. It's all their cars are from the 50s. They don't have anything new, which is like a rad side note of Cuba. The amount of cool, super pristine, well cared for old cars in Cuba is awesome.
And I guess there's they figured out how to bootleg manufacture parts for it to keep them running forever, which is so fascinating.
Yeah, so you got all these great fucking 1950s cars in Cuba that have been on the road this whole time.
Yeah, for over half a century. Yep. So they are in Cuba, and they get to meet with Fidel Castro, because basically they were kind of looking for an island to buy, is what they were doing. They wanted to start a new country.
Yeah.
And Burns just assumes he can pay them off.
when they're meeting with Castro, he goes, and we're looking for, asylum in your socialist paradise as long as we can receive preferential treatment due to our immense wealth. It's like, that's not socialism. That's not how that works.
And I do like that Castro asks to see the $1 trillion bill, and Burns is like, I can't trust you with that. And then Homer's like, come on, he's the president of Cuba. What could go? And then it cuts to them on a raft.
Yep, they got thrown out of Cuba, and they're just on a raft in the ocean.
Yeah. So the whole Cuba angle, I just didn't get much out of that. But man, this episode leading up to that, well done. I was happy to get these kind of laughs again.
Yeah, the Cuba thing was like, you gotta have some way for Burns to lose his $1 trillion bill, and because he can't have it at the end of the episode. And you got, he had made enough like anti-government rants throughout this episode that it's like, of course he would go somewhere else and try to buy it and have his own nation. And we get that great Packard joke. So
the Packard joke was good. Yeah.
So many of the episodes are ending really quickly, and this is another one of those. But I also kind of appreciate that we don't see, Burns talking his way out of prison and Homer going back to his family. I like that we're skipping the wrap-ups at the end of these, where it's just like, yep, they're on a raft headed home. We don't need to show you the rest of it.
Yeah.
Some of the out of nowhere endings I think are a little jarring, but this one where it's like, we know where this is going to go. We can get to the credits. I'm fine with those.
Yeah, we don't need to. Yeah. We're approaching episode 200. So we have seen the song and dance. We know how it's good. We know this isn't a serial. They're not going to be on that raft next episode.
Yeah. This isn't the raft season coming up.
Simpsons fans weren't waiting all week worrying if they survived. They knew
exactly. And I feel like early Simpsons and probably earlier sitcoms of the era, because this would have been close to 10 years ago when the Simpsons first started, we would have seen the wrap up, and then we would have sat here and been like, and then he goes home and everything's back to normal. We don't need it. We don't need it. So I think it's good to not show it. Episode 21, one that I'm kind of on, it was good but not great in my head, was episode 21 entitled Girly Edition, which I did not understand the pun until I just said it out loud. So, good work.
This is interesting. This is one of the few examples where I might be more the optimist with the episode. Whoa, this is compelling stuff, folks. It's almost as if we are a news team. You're delivering the hard-hitting facts. I'm the one talking about the jet skiing squirrel that's raising money for some kid's eye disease.
Piece, yeah.
Yep. I'm doing the noon show. You're doing the investigative reporting.
This was one, there were plenty of jokes that I thought were funny, but the overarching thing, I was like, okay, kind of whatever. I love that we start off Krusty getting lectured that he needs educational programming during his Krusty show, and he rattles off well, where are we going to fit it? And he rattles off all of these segments that are on his show, one of which is Paul Harvey. We get another Paul Harvey we haven't got one of those in a while.
Yeah. There's a nap time on his TV show.
I love that Paul Harvey has a segment on the Krusty the Clown show.
It's syndicated. I'm sure they get it at a good price.
Oh, I'm sure. They'll pump it out to anybody who wants it, no doubt. Willie has constructed a fantastic leaf pile. He's raked all the leaves into a big pile and heads off to his shack to catch a nap.
So, are we to assume he lives in that shack?
Yep. That's the way this episode goes. We are meant to think that Willie lives in a shack on the school property.
In the middle of the playground, a 6x6 shack. That's where the groundskeeper lives.
Yep. Public education budgets. you know?
It's a damning reflection on what we think of our public schools.
Bart, of course, because he's a hellion, wrecks Willie's leaf pile. Willie takes revenge by confiscating Bart's skateboard. We see a tanker truck filled with creamed corn pumping creamed corn into the school cafeteria. I feel like creamed corn gets the short shrift in this episode, and I love creamed corn.
My first note, you a cream corn man, Marlin?
Fucking A.
I am not, with an asterisk. My note says, like, it's one of the very few forms of corn I don't enjoy. I'm a corn boy. But you know what? I think a lot of that just might be childhood cream corn trauma. I should try it with open eyes as an adult, but I don't know. It was a consistency thing, I think.
I can see that. I know that there are plenty of people who don't like creamed corn. You're not an oddity in that by any means.
How about, like, at a restaurant, do you like just a side of corn? I do. I like a big dollop of corn.
Yeah, I'll take corn any way you want to give it to me.
Corn
Whether
on
that
the
is
cob. Oh.
Yeah. I think corn on the cob is probably king corn. That is probably number one with a bullet. And then I'll put a cream corn right underneath it, right there in second place, followed by a loose kernel corn.
Yeah, we've got some bold takes early on.
Yeah, bring on the corn. I'm usually aiming for corn tortillas instead of flour. I'll eat the fuck out of some cornbread.
We know how much I like corn nuggets.
Yeah, oh man, corn nuggets are so fucking good.
Yep.
I don't know that the corn nugget is ubiquitous. I mean, I feel like Ohio probably gets it, but a corn nugget,
shout out, yeah.
Like, is what, like a spoon? Think of a spoonful of creamed corn that you dip in batter and then deep fry. Is that basically a corn nugget?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is there sometimes potato, like ground up potato mixed in with it too? I could be wrong there.
I think you are conflating a corn nugget and a hush puppy together somehow.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Because those are some manner of, I think, cornmeal and potato. I'm not positive.
Yeah. Well, I think hush puppies are just cornmeal balls. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many delectable deep fried treats in America.
Yeah,
come on.
There's some. I feel like it doesn't happen very often, but when you hit a fucking small town cafe on a fucking comedy road trip and you got corn nuggets on the menu, you're gonna fuck up a batch of corn nuggets.
Yep, I gotta try them out.
The creamed corn tanker, Bart unhooks the hose and hooks it up to poor Willie's chimney
shack.
And then just leaves. Bart's an asshole.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know it, Willie's shack fills with creamed corn, and explodes.
There's when Bart's filling it up on the roof. It's like he like sighs. I wish it didn't have to come to this. Like he somehow was like has no say in it. Like it's out of his hands at this point.
What can I do? You took my skateboard, so I have to destroy your home.
Yeah, and perhaps kill you.
Yeah. Willie getting drug off by the paramedics. He swears revenge on Bart, and that's where we leave that. We cut to Homer, who's at the what's it called? The Quickie Mart, buying Bubble Crumb, the gum with a cracker center, which is the worst food product I've ever heard of.
What was it was early, many seasons ago, was it nuts and gum? He takes a handful out of a jar of it.
Yeah,
I think I'd prefer nuts and gum over bubble crumb.
I can't imagine wanting to eat either of those things. Yeah. God damn it. As a huge gum chewer, man, the second you get a flake of anything in your gum, you spit that gum out.
Yep.
The gum with a cracker center. Perfect. Apu is laid up. He was shot 6 times and left for dead by a robber, and he has a helper monkey who's helping him out, which probably just a Simpsons thing. Like, I don't think that the same place that has seeing eye dogs also has helper monkeys. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I have never understood people who want a tiny monkey as a pet. Like, like Ross had one on Friends. I've seen just enough Friends to know that. And I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, that's fucking gross. Who would want that?
I am very anti-primate. I'm sure it's came up before, but nowhere near me.
Yeah, I don't want... They just seem like a dirty animal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't... Maybe it's the same feeling I have with dogs. I don't like little dogs, but I like big dogs. So maybe I don't like sit-on-your-shoulder monkeys, but would be fine owning a gorilla. Maybe that's my line.
Yeah. Once you get your COVID bucks, you can buy an orangutan and go solve mysteries with it.
Just get a silverback in here. He's just sitting watching TV with me.
And then until one day it's apparently decides to eat your feet while you're asleep.
Haven't seen Marlin in a while. What happened to him? Oh, his pet silverback hucked him like a javelin off his patio. He's been laid up in traction 6 weeks. Probably not going to walk again. Now, ironically, he needs a helper animal.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a kids news program on the Krusty Show is where this Krusty arc is going, and Skinner of course taps Lisa to do it, and they do their first newscast. Bart has suckered his way into being the sports guy. The news opens, and I laughed so fucking hard at this. The intro to the news is like the globe spinning, and then Nelson doing the news music. He's just it's the news, just like dead-eyed staring down the barrel of the camera, just making mouth sounds for the news intro. I thought that was a hysterical visual.
So great, yeah.
Lisa, of course, is here to deliver the news, and she's very dry and very matter-of-fact. She is doing the fucking news, and she's nothing else.
And she talks about the school's budget. They have to make cuts, and they're making cuts in the periodicals, which I like.
Yeah.
But do you think a modern high school, do they still get like a bunch of magazines and a bunch of newspapers and stuff?
I'll bet they do, because who the fuck else is getting them?
Yeah, that's true. And man, I loved that. I love, to this day, I still love the newspaper. Are you a newspaper guy?
No, I never have been. We would get, back home, our county newspaper was a weekly, and I don't think I ever flipped through it. I was never been a newspaper man. You get so much. You get local news, you get national news, you get the funnies, you get a Sudoku puzzle, you get the word jumble. I would for sure steal the funny papers from Grandpa every so often. Yeah. Honestly, and this is such a dumb reason, now that I'm thinking about it, to never have gotten into newspapers, but they are the most unwieldy, hard to handle thing. They're too big. Let's make this magazine sized, and we can just read it like a normal person. There's nothing else in your life that you read that you have to hold your hands as far apart as you can in order to open this fucking newspaper. I vividly remember that crossing my mind, of being like, this is hard to, and then I try to close it, but it wrinkles in the middle, and now there's a tear in it. Newspapers shrink them down to magazine size. Newspapers are dumb.
I think once you get older, you'll learn to handle the girth. I think it'll get to a point, actually, you might learn to look forward to it.
like you set it on the table that you're sitting at, but now like you're looking up to read the top lines because it's too tall.
I think my newspaper game is on point enough. I never really struggle with that, except try read a newspaper outside when it's windy. That's a struggle.
Or when the sun's out because you see through the paper.
That is true. So you got to lay it down on a picnic table.
Yeah, it's like
forearms weighting down each side.
It's just a huge wet napkin. Like, I don't want anything to do with this.
You put the pen in your mouth and you complete the crossword that way.
I volunteer worked at our high school's library when I was in junior high during a free period, and so I dealt with newspapers all the fucking time.
God, I forgot about school papers.
Not school papers. They would get the papers from the area. We never had a school paper.
Oh, no kidding. Why am I curious?
Yeah, why are
surprised
you surprised
by this? Like,
we barely had yearbooks or shoes. Like, the fact that you're blown away that we didn't have what would that even have been, Nathan?
A pile of leaves with crude draws of cattle on them.
I more meant content-wise, not physically.
Oh, I think we're beyond. Like, we're not even to a point where content could be captured. There's no paper anywhere. Like maybe every year there's a dry deer hide. That's what the city elders put some incoherent scribbles on.
Like, I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can, being small town enough, but like our actual county newspaper, the stories that made it in there were not news. Like, I know it's not unique to my town because I've had the same talk with other people who grew up in small towns, but like Gladys Nelson's nephew visited from Montana this weekend.
Love that
makes
part of
it
the
into
paper.
the fucking newspaper.
Yeah, Ronnie and Lynette Fibblestad were dinner guests of Laverne and Jonas, Crabibble Popper. Like, oh, fun. I hope it was delicious.
That makes the news with a photo sometimes.
Yep.
Like, so the school newspaper would not have been a real thing.
I had an article in the school newspaper called Steel Wool for some reason, where me and my buddies would just talk about whatever things we were enjoying at that time. Maybe it's a movie or a
just
CD.
an editorial.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was a friend of mine who was a real go-getter. He put all that together.
You were just there.
Yeah. There's even like an animated picture of each of us. Like, looking back, that was, someone put some work into that.
Please find that picture. I want to see what animated young Nathan looks like.
I remember it was after I cut my hair, so I had kind of the butt cut. It wasn't the long, juvenile, like, glue huffing undercut. It was more of a butt cut loaf. I had the hair loaf at that point. The loaf was risen.
So cool.
Boy, even at the time, it was tragic. Like, oh man, we didn't think this out at all.
Lisa doing just dry ass news. Bart, of course, full zazz. He is.
Yup.
He is a real hey, how you doing kind of news anchor.
One of the bullies is gonna fight the music
teacher. Yeah, that makes his news.
Yes, I loved this angle. Like. Of where the episode went, where like Lisa's the purist and Bart's the showman. Yeah,
the lady from the network, of course, loves Bart, so makes him co-anchor with Lisa. Lisa not happy about it, and Bart overhears Lisa explaining to the network that Bart is dumb, and Bart's feelings are hurt because even if you're dumb, that it hurts to hear. I get it.
Because for some reason, there's a CCTV in the men's room. That's how Bart overhears it.
He's in the dressing room, I think.
That's okay.
And it's the
that
program feed from the television. So Bart, he goes to find some sage-like advice from motherfucking Kent Brockman.
Yeah.
Who I love seeing Kent Brockman when he's not on the news because he's always in some manner of like elaborate loungewear with a drink and too much jewelry. I love seeing off-the-clock Brockman.
Very decadent.
Brockman tells him the real secret, which is fluff piece human interest stories. That's how you win the Emmys. That's how you get them. So Bart takes that immediately to heart, and his next story is the first in a new series called Bart's People. And he is so fucking saccharine and so just like the fake Dyer of his tale of Old Joe and the Ducks, where it's just an old man throwing bread into an empty pond, and it's just like, some people say the ducks went away. Some people say the ducks were there, never there. Some people say that maybe Joe used to sit over on that bench where there are ducks. God damn it. So it's just this sad old man with no ducks to feed, and of course everyone loves it.
And then the cut to Burns and Smithers in those inclined beanbag chairs, watching it on that giant TV is so good. And Burns being sad, like, do you think maybe our power plant is the reason? And Smithers is like, well, yes, it absolutely is. And it turns out Burns is excited about this news.
Yeah, he's just like, good.
Yeah. Just the image of those two on those, I'm assuming they're like lying, like, but they're like flat. That doesn't make any sense. I'll die laughing.
They're lying the way you're lying right now. Like they're in your podcasting position,
but
apparently.
Like their legs, it's almost like they just like were standing and they just fell into it. Like it was so amazing. Like at the giant screen they're watching. It's like in a movie theater. Oh God, I was laughing. And the upcoming human interest piece he does with the old vets sewing the flags.
Yeah.
I died. Those flags look like such shit. Because I know every time some will say it was just some will tell them that the flag doesn't say Jordache on it. It's such a great 90s brand of reference.
Yep. Perfect. I laughed real hard at that.
God, yeah.
Lisa's gonna take a try at this, so she goes out to film her own bullshit human interest piece. Yeah, she's outside this disheveled little shack talking about, like, they call her the crazy cat lady, but if she could care for dozens of cats, could she be that crazy? Like, she's just doing what Bart is doing, and the fucking crazy cat lady comes charging out the door with, like, 6 cats caught up in her arms and just starts hucking cats at poor Lisa.
Yeah.
As a cat lover and cat owner and big cat fan all around, God, I was dying laughing. That lady, she's just shrieking, throwing cats at Lisa.
The Union Pacific doesn't come around here much anymore. The Union just burns right by the million carts.
And then as soon as it passes by, there's the crazy cat lady again, hucking cats at Lisa.
Cats as weapons.
God damn it. That was funny.
Yeah.
Bart's pandering has now gotten out of control. Lisa writes a fake letter pretending to be someone who Bart should cover on Bart's People. And meanwhile, we cut back to Homer, who has destroyed this monkey that he got as a helper monkey. It's just become Homer.
Yep,
it's
just living his life,
Yeah, it's just fat and lazy, and Marge is disgusted, and Homer's like, well, what do you want out of him? His cholesterol's out of control. It's like... And then he returns the fat, barely conscious monkey to the animal helper store, and the dude opens the door and looks down, because Homer just laid it on the stoop and ran away, and he looks down and is just like, oh, Mojo, what have they done to you? Homer ruined a living creature.
Yeah. They give him like that, like, see and say, almost like typing for the words. It's pray for Mojo.
Yeah.
So depressing, but so funny.
Oh, God. So this fake letter that Lisa hands to Bart is about this immigrant who came to this country with nothing and now has been evicted from his home and is forced to live at the junkyard, and it's such a sad sap story that she's written. Bart, of course, has to go, and he decides to do a live Bart's People during the newscast, and so we cut to Bart, who's laying it on thick, and then the immigrant in question is, of course, Willie.
Yeah.
And that means that Bart is the bad guy who kicked him out of his home due to the cream corn incident earlier. So Willie is in a murderous rage and is going to kill Bart. Lisa goes running off because she immediately is like, oh no, what did I do? Classic Lisa. And Nelson takes her seat at the news desk, and he's got a suit on, and he taps his papers and then just looks dead-eyed into the camera and makes fart sounds with his armpits, and then goes to camera 2 and does the same thing, just continues the little touch of also he's gonna do this at camera 2 for a while. So fucking funny.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
And Lisa, she shows up and saves Bart from Willie. She essentially just uses Bart's lay it on thick tactics to get Willie to leave Bart alone and go away. And then we see that, hey, we do make a good team, and we see like a new placard for kids news, but it turns out it's been canceled to make room for, and I wrote this down, the Mattel and Mars Bar Quick Energy Chocobot Hour.
Yeah. Which I think that cartoon idea is a little dated. That's more of an 80s thing where the cartoons are just blatant advertisements.
Commercials.
For the toy.
Yeah, it's clearly Transformers is what they're doing.
Exactly,
they're just doing chocolate Transformers. But it's still funny regardless of if it's 10 years late.
Yep. How the bodies of the Transformers are like candy bars.
Yep, they're all candy. They're like, we gotta get out there, and the enemy that they name drop is Colonel Kataffy, which I thought was very funny.
A joke earlier in this episode I really dug was Homer wants to get the helper monkey, and they're like, well, you are able-bodied. We don't give them out to anyone. And he's all kind of crestfallen. Oh, wait a second. And he wheels Grandpa in. Just taking advantage of Grandpa. And like, oh, I can't. This monkey's going to be so great. He's like, yeah, it's going to be great. Grandpa's good. He just peels off. And Grandpa's just sitting there. I can't wait to eat that monkey.
Yep.
Like, he thought it was like a free turkey on Thanksgiving. Like, just monkeys for old people to eat.
There's a couple real good quick-fire jokes of like, just exploit Grandpa, whatever, and get this monkey, and then it turns out Abe was excited.
He had to eat it.
Yeah, he's just out loud to himself, just so pleased, I can't wait to eat that monkey.
Man, these last 2 episodes, they had me laughing at like prime Simpsons levels. So that was...
Yeah, I really liked the jokes, the moment to moments I thought were so fucking funny. The arc as a whole, I could kind of take or leave, but god damn it.
So we are up to Trash of the Titans, and this is a very special episode. It is the 200th episode of The Simpsons, which...
Yeah.
If you know TV history, getting to 200 episodes is some pretty rarefied air. And then stop and think. We got 23 more seasons after and counting. It's just absurd how long this show's been on the air. Like, yeah, man, like it is like 200 episodes is so many episodes. I think 100 is the gold standard to get syndicated, but so doubling that is a huge accomplishment, and then we're just getting started.
23 years later, they're still on.
So
fucking wild.
Weren't they talking about like feeling like they were past their prime and that everything had been done in like season 7? And they go a quarter of a century past and counting, mind you. The show is on the air. There's probably a new episode this Sunday, so...
Yeah, it's wild how long this show has gone on.
So, Trash of the Titans starts in a boardroom where they're trying to think of a new holiday to get people to waste money frivolously. And they can't come up, they're throwing out ideas, and someone suggests Love Day. Like, well, that's just too dumb. That's so bland. And then you cut to the Simpson household. Happy Love Day, everybody. Like,
celebrating big time.
Isn't Love Day just Valentine's Day? It looked a lot like it.
I think it was Valentine's without the romantic love is how I read it.
And there's all those decorations in the front yard. There's those 3 bears in diapers that are animatronic singing a song.
I love that the Simpson family bought in big on Love Day.
Yeah, they are in it, totally.
The fact that this corporation just blatantly invented a holiday to get you to spend money, and that they are 100% on board. There's gifts, there's both interior and exterior decorations. They went hard on Love Day.
And they're cleaning up, and the garbage is heaping. And they're like, well, it's your job, Dad, it's your turn to take the garbage to the curb. And he's like, well, we don't have to take the garbage out until it's overflowing. So he just stomps it down. So that's the thing. As long as it fits in, you don't have to take it out. So they just keep building this mountain of garbage in this garbage can. There's a great visual gag where Bart eats a banana and he throws the peel on the mountain and it just slides down. So he takes a stapler and staples the banana peel to the side of the garbage can, which is so great.
Yeah, because you don't have to take it out until it spills. So no one wants to be the one to make it spill, which I had a vivid flashback to being 19 years old, sharing a garbage house with 2 other guys, and essentially having the same rule. As long as it fits in the can, we don't have to take it out just yet. And the state of that garbage was often fucking horrifying.
And what happens in cases like this, you just get to a point you forget to take the garbage to the curb. So then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we have to wait another week with all this trash. And that's what happens with The Simpsons. As Homer realizes that the garbage truck is coming, he hauls ass out there to get it on the curb and just misses them and gets in an insult with the garbage men, and they finds out that the garbage men, they ain't going to play. They back up. They have words. And this escalates to no longer are the Simpsons going to have their garbage picked up. Have we discussed on this podcast my illustrious career as a garbage man? I think maybe we have.
I believe it's been touched on, but not elaborated much on, because I had the same thought. I was like, didn't Nathan mention that he was a garbage man for a bit?
I filled in on the garbage. I was a city employee. I filled in the garbage truck for maybe 2 months at the most. And I tell you, one of the greatest jobs I've ever had. Loved it.
Really?
I mean, besides the fact waking up at 5:15 in the morning is no one's ideal job when you're 18, but no one bugs you, especially in the summer. It's nice in the morning because you get all your hot work done before you're in the true heat of the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, get it done early.
You just kind of lay about and stay out of direct sunlight for the rest of your shift after you get the garbage picked up, and you're at home by 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Were you a full-on hanging off the back of the truck garbage guy? Wow,
flinging
look at you.
Oh yeah, and at an age, it was a good workout, which I could desperately use now.
Maybe I'm dumb, but I can't look at a garbage truck, like the classic, kind of humpbacked garbage truck, and see how it works from a compacting perception.
It makes sense.
How does it work?
You have to kind of look in it while it's happening. It's like looking into the abyss. Sometimes you need to. You need to see what happens to the garbage. It's remarkable how much they'll hold. Like when you see it dumped, when the whole back end lifts up with the hydraulics, they dump it out. It is very compacted because when it lands and it is a pile of trash. Is exactly what it is. And yeah, I loved it. Yeah, and then you also got like the hook with the cable to do the dumpsters. It is a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm going to take your word for it. I'm not going to run out and be a garbage man or anything, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, they've taken away some of the art of it. Almost every city now uses the one-armed bandit that just drives up to your garbage can. The robot arm picks up the can and dumps it. There's no people. There's no people outside. Used to be garbage men were part of the neighborhood. Hey, here comes, Sonny and Tully riding on the back of the garbage truck, telling very hurtful ethnic jokes, probably.
Used to be a DDT was a finish. I can't believe what these wrestlers are doing nowadays.
Nothing means anything. Garbage trucks are robots.
85 since he was 8.
Yeah. Used to be a better country when Reagan was running things.
Oh, boy. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. That's for another podcast.
I love, not to back up too far, that the garbage item that Homer tosses on the can that is the straw that breaks the camel's back that causes him to have to take the garbage out is the wrapper from Big John's breakfast log, which appears to just be a giant summer sausage that he just eats.
What's the company that's kind of taking off on? Jimmy Dean. Gotta be Jimmy Dean sausage.
Yeah, I thought like Jimmy Dean or Johnsonville. Like it's some manner of big sausage. But the idea or the phrase Big John's breakfast log really got a hold of me.
It's very open. What could be in that log? There's a lot of different options.
It's indicative of the shape anyway.
Do you recall the very early days of things going viral on the internet, that audio clip of that guy calling the Jimmy Dean sausage complaint line and complaining about them cutting down from like a 16-ounce log to like a 14.5-ounce log? And oh man, you are so in for a treat. I'm not going to do it justice. He calls it, he's trying to stay like kind of professional and contained. He's like, I have been a faithful Jimmy Dean sausage company or fan for the last 27 years. Every breakfast we have it, and I just want to say that I am furious that you've cut down the size. I'll tell you what, right now, I have 3 growing boys. They eat with us for breakfast every day. My wife is a large woman. She can't help it. She's Scotch. When he says she can't help it, and you're trying to tell me I can feed a goddamn family with one log that doesn't even weigh a pound? And then at some point, one of his children, probably very alarmed, walks in the room, and he doesn't move the phone away from his mouth enough, and he unleashes a tirade of what he truly thinks about the Jimmy Dean Sausage Company. It's like,
oh boy.
Yeah.
I need to find this. This sounds amazing. I'm
going to throw a trigger warning out right now. For all I know, there was some very hurtful language thrown in there. This is also 2002, the wild, wild west of the internet. This could end with a beheading video, for all I know. So just tread lightly. Stay frosty. Head on a swivel.
I'll go in prepped.
Please let me know what you think, because boy, I remember listening to that and dying laughing.
I also love here when the trash men beat up Homer when he comes walking back into his house. He's not just
pants.
Yep, he's not just filthy with garbage on his head. They have shoved garbage into the waistband of his pants. So good.
Yep. And he is just, he's a proud man. He is. So now, he took a vicious, embarrassing beating. Plus, they no longer get garbage service. So their house is turning into a third world country.
Just throwing it on the lawn. Yeah, God damn it. God, it's
animals.
So gross.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I love how Marge has to rip open a pack of bacon to lure the rats away so the kids can run out of the house to go get to school.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go, go, go.
Yeah. And Homer, well, of course, because he's an idiot, will not stand down. And he's like, nope, they're going to apologize to me. For what?
Yeah, they didn't do anything
wrong. This is one of those episodes where Homer's such an idiot, it starts to bug me. Like,
Yeah.
But that does not stop it from being a good episode. There's been plenty of great episodes where that's a big plot part of it. And the garbage builds. Finally, one morning he wakes up and the garbage is gone. And he thinks he won. He's gloating to the family at the breakfast table. And then Marge is finally like, listen, I wrote an apology and I signed it with your name. And he's just taken aback, even though she mentions he has done this multiple times. He's like,
yeah.
This isn't a loan application. This is important. But just, yeah, oh man. I don't know how it with the ending, if I was really into it, but at this point I'm very invested in this episode.
I don't know. I didn't write down what he says, but Lisa says something to Homer, and he says something truly stupid. And
and Lisa escapes. She has like an escape hatch in her brain.
It does the zoom in on her head with the echoey voice that her brain is talking to her, and it just says, I know, I heard it too. Here's some music. And it just starts playing classical music. Oh, God, it is good.
Also, something similar in one of these earlier episodes of this batch, Homer says something absolutely stupid in the living room and leaves. And Marge, it's the tax one. He hands Marge a painting that she painted and said it's like a gift. Yep. And he bursts out of the house, an idiot, as always, and she hangs the painting up, looks at it sadly, and just goes, "You used to have a lot of talent, kid."
Yep.
And then it just cuts to Lisa and Bart looking at each other like we are unpacking something here. Holy moly.
That was great.
Yeah. So Homer goes down to the city commissioner guy who's just an honest guy doing an honest day's work, and who had to be voiced by Steve Martin, right? I wasn't losing my mind. Okay.
No, totally Steve Martin. It took me a while to catch it. I was like, fuck, who is that?
Yep. Yeah. And Homer has just got this insane idea that he's rallying against the injustices of City Hall, which he hasn't really been, put upon. Nothing's really been done to him. And the guy's like, "What are you talking about? What?" And then he's finally just gets him out of the. He's like, "I'm gonna shake the cage." He's rattling that guy's literal bird cage.
Yeah, he grabs the bird cage with the parrot in it, and he's just shaking the shit. Parrot is screaming. God, that was a good visual.
Yep. And that guy kind of shoos him out of his office because he's a crazy person. And Homer now decides he's going to run for office and take that guy's job, which. That's kind of when the episode changes. Now it becomes more of a political thing where they have kind of like a town hall meeting eventually, and he just does the comedy thing and just because as one could imagine, the normal city commissioner meeting is not a big event in the city. It's just two boring middle-aged people telling their boring middle-aged plans.
Yeah.
But Homer adds a lot of pizzazz. He's throwing jokes around. He's doing this. He tampered with his brakes, so he nearly died getting there. and his the real commissioners. What's his name? Is it not Ferguson? But
Patterson.
Patterson. He's like, listen. I'm a faithful servant. You can vote for me in common sense, or you can vote for the lunatic who's promising the most insane things you can imagine. And then just quick cut to the Springfield newspaper, local idiot wins big or something like that.
Yeah, wins on crazy promises or something along those lines.
Like the subline is crazy promises key to victory.
Yeah.
And he has these garbage men who wear nice outfits, and they're basically like Mary Poppins. They're like magic. They're just in your home doing things.
Doing everything. Yeah. Doing things that garbage men don't do, like cleaning your house for you and shit.
Then we cut to them very angry in the office of Homer's because they haven't got paid yet. And they're no longer very nice. They're very to the point. But Homer clicks open a suitcase full of cash. He's like, "Does cash work?" And cash obviously works, and so they're paid off, and now he's kind of a hero because they have these amazing garbage men that do everything, and the city looks great. And then he goes to show the family his brilliant idea. It just turns out he's getting cash payments from other cities because they're literally turning Springfield into a dump.
Yep, they're just shoving fucking garbage into the old mine.
Yeah. It isn't a joke. Is it Chicago that has the garbage that's just hypodermic needles and like grenades and guns?
Yeah, guns, yeah.
And no one has to know about this in his dumb head. And then eventually, I think he's playing golf with Mayor Quimby, and just trash bubbles start popping up on the putting green.
Such a good I love all of the visuals of the trash exploding up through the ground.
And when it finally does it, and Quimby's like pointing like pantyhose, this and that. It's like, why would you have to point out it's obviously trash? Like he has to add it up in his own head first.
Yeah.
And then, now there's just garbage everywhere. It is it's a dangerous level of trash coming out of everything. And, you know what we're missing is the goddamn shoehorned in U2 appearance.
Yep, you blew right by. I was going to come back to it, but you blew right through U2.
Did you see any reason? I don't know, man. Maybe it was just me. It just felt forced. Like, hey, these giant superstars can record today. Let's squeeze them. Like, am I missing? Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Like,
well, like from a story perspective, I can see Homer showing up at that concert because he wants to appeal to some youth votes or get the word out because it's during his campaign. But the fact that it's U2, like, why not? You're the fucking Simpsons, and this is your 200th episode. You may as well get a rock band. It's 1998.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? And
it just shows what a bunch of 40-year-old guys write a show like this, that they thought U2 was what was hip,
U2 in 98, they were probably past their prime, but still big. I think U2 today is bigger than you think they are.
They're huge. I just think, like, they're not, like, cool. Like, they back even at this point, they were like a bloated.
U2's never been cool.
Yeah, maybe like in '82. Maybe they were technically like a new wave band when they started. Yeah. That's many lifetimes ago now. And I am a U2 fan. I know I get really? When people say they aren't. I get it. I can see Bono. He's a little earnest, hard on the sleeve, but I like man.
Yeah. I could probably think real hard and name 5 songs I like, but that's about it.
I want a hot take, Marlin.
Always.
You ready for a hot take?
Always.
You got your oven mitts on? Because this is a hot take.
Don't make me wait, Daddy.
I like 90s U2. And that's the one nobody likes. I think their 2 best songs they ever wrote came out in the 90s. I think if you want to hear them, hey, write them down, listeners. If you wanted to, the first one is Stay. It's Stay in parentheses, So Close, but the song is Stay, and Electrical Storm, which was only released on their second greatest hits as an original track. That used to be like a marketing ploy bands would do when like you would put one new song on a greatest hits and put it out as a single to like kind of as a way to kind of trick the people that already bought every other album to have to buy that one too. But Electrical
it serves
Storm.
2 purposes because if you put a new track on there, it also fulfills a record on your record contract.
Absolutely. So good catch.
Some bands will use that as a way to like, we got to get out of this record contract, but we still have one more record that we're obligated to release. Fuck it. Greatest hits with one new song. We're out of here. Yep. We're signing with somebody else.
Totally different genre of music, but the band The Mavericks, one of my favorite country acts, I think wildly underrated. One of their best singles, I think, is off of their greatest hits. But it's hard to find. It's like, I don't even know if it's on Spotify, which is, you can't say that about a lot of things
pretty
anymore.
Rare, yep.
Yeah, but I love that song. But
I don't know any U2 deep cuts. All the U2 that I know and like are hits.
The classic rock staples, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like, New Year's Day is fine and Sunday Bloody Sunday is fine. That's the way I feel about U2. The songs I like of U2, I will say are fine. Like I'm never like fuck yeah, The Name of Love. No, like it's fine. It's a good song. Whatever.
Yeah, and they are a band that I think has good, like their good albums are deep. Like the non-singles are good too.
I like when Homer interrupts that concert. First off, he gets in by just showing up at the back door and saying, "I'm the Potato Man," and they're like, "Thank God, what took you so long?" and let him in. I love a good Irish joke.
Yeah.
And I like when he gets on stage and is preaching his campaign message. Bono is immediately on board, and the rest of the band is all like, "Oh fuck, here he goes." Like they have to deal with like activist Bono all the time, and they're just like, "Oh god." I thought that was a good dig at Bono.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded. I just thought I had real Beatles vibes with this appearance, but you know, you bring up a good point. There were a couple really good gigs.
Yeah, I didn't think they felt out of place. I was like, "Oh, this is the rock band we got this time." Okay, sure.
I do like that Edge and the drummer know of Moe's, and they're going to go to Moe's while they have that downtime.
You want to go to Moe's? Yeah.
And they don't invite the bassist.
Who asks, "Can I come along?" And there's a long pause and just, no.
Yeah. And then I don't think we get them again until the end credits.
They show up real briefly in the musical number when Homer gets the job and we see all the trashmen working.
Which, that also didn't... I've just never been a big musical number person, but yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
So, I kind of jumped ahead of all of that. So back to the ecological disaster that is now Springfield. One of my favorite part of the episode, they're having a panicked emergency city council meeting where Homer's going to get horse-whipped, which I like, as a punishment. And then the former city commissioner guy comes in, and they act like he's there to save the day. And he goes up like he's got the speech prepared, and he's just like... we could do this, but I'm not gonna. You're on your own. So long, suckers. It just walks off. And they don't know what to do, which I like.
And I like that there's two musicians in front of the stage who play him on and then off again with like the Sanford and Son theme.
Yeah,
is that
exactly
what
it is. That is exactly
it's just like,
here he comes.
God, I loved that.
Nope.
Patterson will save us, and just gets to the podium and nope, and leaves.
And then we cut to them just moving the city
5 miles down the road.
My hometown was once moved half a mile. Because the railroad decided, nope, we're changing our plans. It's like, well...
Oh, okay. I was about to say half a mile. Why so small of a distance?
Just to get on the railroads, on the tracks, Which, could you imagine the back-breaking labor it took to move a house in 1890 or whatever it was?
No, you tear down that house and you rebuild that house is how I would handle that, I think.
Good God, yeah. I just think, how many people just die doing any kind of physical labor back? I remember it's an insane number of people died making the New York subway system.
I'd believe that.
I think I might be wrong. I thought it was around 2,000 people. Think of that. That's almost 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that one seems totally believable because not only do you have the antiquated tech and backbreaking labor of the day, but you also have the added challenge of we're gonna try to do all this underground
with candlelight.
Yeah.
You could just imagine there was a tunnel dug into a side of a hill at Ellis Island, and all the foreign men just got pumped down that tunnel. We'll explain later. Get to work.
Welcome to America. Here's your candle.
Yeah. We're going to need it back, so take care of it.
Someone at the other end will collect it from you. Yeah.
We're going to give this candle to your widow. So a remembrance.
How old are your kids? 7 and 6? Yeah, they can dig.
Yeah. So then that's kind of it. And then, of course, Homer is just Like, totally not acts like he was not part of this problem to begin with, but
Yeah.
I was happy he at least got his comeuppance a little bit with the horsewhipping threat. Like, he had to stand up on the stage and be shamed. It's like, oh man, because we get peak shithead Homer in this one.
And he so often gets off with zero consequences and never learns anything, and he certainly didn't hear. But it was nice to see him have to stand on the stage with his hands together, just like at least looking sad for a minute.
I mean, not a perfect episode, but I enjoyed it. I think this is, for me,
I really liked that one.
This is 3 solid episodes in a row.
Yeah, I don't know that it was my favorite of the bunch. That one might still be the Burns one, but boy, did I like Trash of the Titans a lot. Yeah.
Like, these last 3 could have appeared in season 6, and they wouldn't have been bangers, for sure. But they would have fit right in.
Yeah, these are great episodes. I was, as a group, much higher on this week's than last.
I think 2 weeks ago might have been the low point. That was the one I was like concerned while watching. Like, I'm not ready for this level of mediocrity. But
that sounds about right. I'll believe it. Time has no meaning anymore. I don't have a clue what day it is ever.
Am I upside down right now?
Yeah.
Sensory deprivation chamber.
I just always feel dizzy. I don't know what's happening. One last one, episode 23 of season 9 is King of the Hill. They should just do more episodes where they name the episodes after other shows.
After other Fox shows.
Yeah. Still waiting on a Babes.
Yeah, or a Martin. Or a Drexel's Class.
It's Gary Shandling's show. Where's that episode?
He's never once mentioned.
Kind of surprised we haven't seen Gary Shandling do a guest star.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah,
unless we've missed it, but
if we have, I completely have forgotten about it.
We're watching a McBain movie. McBain is on the run from commie Nazis, which I thought was a fun logo, just a swastika with the hammer and sickle in the middle of it. Homer, in a bit of frankly impressive laziness, has his beer balanced on his gut and rolls it in such a way that he can drink out of it, and then rolls it the other way and crushes the can under his undergut, and Bart is horrified.
The noise Bart makes is so great. And
he just shudders. And
I was thinking too that we're approaching the end of the Rainier Wolfcastle character being modern. We're in 98. Arnold doesn't have a whole lot of years left. He's going to become the governor pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know what his last giant big budget action movie would have been. Like the sixth, what was that one? There's one more sci-fi one that I kind of sticks out in my head that I never saw. But then because we're already in Eraser territory. He doesn't have a lot of non-Terminator bangers left in him,
Yeah, I always think of his last handful of big ones being Eraser, The Sixth Day, and End of Days.
Yep, yeah. I saw End of Days in the theater.
End of Days is fucking bad.
Is there a Guns N' Roses song on that soundtrack? I remember metalheads really being excited about, just the fact that.
Oh, I don't know.
I think
I'd believe it.
Yeah, I think there was. I mean, it's basically the Axl Rose experience, but hey, he's got the name, so he can say it's Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. I remember not liking that movie at all. Or any of those 3, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
In the late 90s, there was a run of, kind of devil, heaven and hell themed horror movies. I remember seeing Stigmata.
I was just about to say Stigmata, yeah.
And then there was one with Winona Ryder and Ben Kaplan. That's another devil type movie. And then another one was Stir of Echoes, or is that more of a ghost? That might not be a.
That's just a ghost one, yeah.
I just remember that I double dipped
in that one.
I double dipped Stir of Echoes and Stigmata. I'm not sure which one got my 9.75, but the other one didn't.
Stir of Echoes is fucking good. That's a good movie.
I mean, I was also a dipshit, but I remember kind of enjoying both of them. I'm just a horror nut at that point, so it didn't take a whole lot, but.
Would 98, would this been around, or maybe not 98 in particular, but the era you're talking about, would that have been like Devil's Advocate? Would that have shown up around then?
I would say Devil's Advocate is 98. I would say the movies we're talking are more 99, 2000.
Yeah, like, so, I don't know, we were way into the devil there for a year
totally.
or two.
Kind of like that comes around every 20 odd. We're almost due for it again. Like,
where's the devil at? I keep asking.
yeah.
No one.
Because in the 70s, you had The Exorcist, you had The Omen. They're just monster money makers, you know.
Mm-hmm. We got the devil in The Witch, which we've praised on this show before. So.
Not necessarily the financial juggernaut but a very good movie. Yeah,
it was no End of Days. That's for sure.
Arnold Schwarzenegger does not show up, which disappoints me to this day.
Oh, but imagine if he did.
And playing it straight, speaking that old English language
in his accent. Like, would he be the dad in The Witch?
Or, even in an early part when they're still a part of that village, if he was one of the villagers.
Oh, sure.
And it's never addressed.
Or you stunt cast him as the devil.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where my head's at. Yeah. Just to hear Arnold say, "Do you want to live deliciously?" Yeah. Holy shit, I would die.
Do you like cream? Who could say no to that voice?
So we go to a church picnic, and they're playing Capture the Flag, which I have noted only a thing on television.
God, yeah. See, I only have a part of my life because it was a part of paintball. But yeah, children playing Capture the Flag. We played Kick the Can, but I don't ever remember Capture the Flag being a thing we did.
What is 8-ball?
Oh, paintball. Pardon me, paintball.
Oh, I thought you said 8-ball. I'm like, what are you kids getting up to?
We're in a vicious street gang.
All the kids would do a whole bunch of cocaine and then play fun games.
In high school, I was a nut about paintball. That was where a lot of my extra income went.
I thought you were going to say cocaine.
Yeah, I did not have the build for it.
We dabbled briefly in paintball, like me and a cousin, but it never took off. It was never a thing. Yeah, it was never a thing in town.
It can't work. Yep.
Capture the Flag only in Halo. That's my extent of Capture the Flag knowledge.
You're right. That is a big part of first-person shooters. Yeah.
Yeah. Never like if this were a church picnic where I come from, the games would have been like, I don't know, fucking horseshoe or hide and seek or tag. Like, we weren't capturing flags.
Yeah.
Maybe a gunny sack race if you were lucky.
Yeah, I'm trying to even. Yeah, horseshoes for the dads, definitely. Yeah, that was as the little kids didn't get into the horseshoes, but yeah. Or we would often do stuff at the park. A softball game would break out if it was a big enough group. You know, just bring your mitts and get a game going.
Huh, yeah, no one where I come from gave a shit about baseball, so that bled into really not giving a shit about softball much either. Softball was one of those things, like, all of our dads played softball before we were born, and then we never got to.
Just got heard tales of softball glory, and that was it.
Yeah. Boy, Dad, it sounds like fun.
Yeah. Can we come to town? Could we try?
Oh, it was. Yeah. Now go away.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
I wonder if something happened, like they accidentally killed a drifter, so they just can never... it's just like an unspoken thing that can never be played
buried
again.
Under home plate. Yeah.
Some say this field has a history.
Sometimes softball is better.
How many people in your hometown had a rich New England accent?
Most of them, yeah. Homer is participating in the Capture the Flag, and he's running back with the flag to the home base and collapses because Homer is not in good shape and is then pelted with deviled eggs by all these children.
Yeah. Oh, God,
not a thing that would have flown. There would have been a different adult, if not Homer, stopping this. Mm-hmm. Secondly, what a waste of deviled eggs, which are amazing.
A good deviled egg. Yep.
Oh,
just
God,
them
I love deviled eggs.
dropping them on him, and he just feebly lies there, like whimpering.
Yeah. Look, he's trying to roll over, and they hit him with more of them. Good God.
So great.
If you've ever made deviled eggs, you know that they're a huge pain in the ass to make. So I was just like, man, someone wasted a whole day and a half on these deviled eggs. Now you're just throwing them at Homer.
When they're good, that's a tasty treat.
Yeah, I'll fuck up a whole bunch of deviled eggs. Homer is gonna get in shape, and Marge is so pandering about it. I laughed so hard at Marge being like, "Yep, I'm sure you will, honey. I'll start taking in your slacks."
And she laughs about it. Yeah,
yeah, like we've talked about before, the rare asshole Marge appearance in this one. Homer is just jogging and eating power bars. Power Sauce.
Power Sauce
is the name of the bar, which is endorsed by Rainier Wolfcastle and is apparently just packed full of apples. I love that that's the protein bar of its day, was just a bar made of apples.
And I'm shocked that enough people would have known the concept of protein bars in 1998. Like, I don't remember seeing them anywhere, but they must have been in their infancy and getting around. So, yeah.
And again, they must have got them before we
they
did.
Were eating since like the 40s. Like, the astronauts were eating them.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't start eating or buying protein bars till probably 03, maybe 05.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I like a good protein bar.
Yeah, when it's done right. Oh, some of them are rough though. Oh man, you got to find the one you like and stick with it.
A lot of them that are bad, though, I have the same belief in protein bars that I have in cough syrup. Like, if it tastes bad, it's probably good for you.
Good point. Yeah.
Nothing that tastes good is doing anything. Like, oh, I got some Cherry Halls lozenges because I got a cough. No, you buy the Fisherman's Friend that just look like compressed and shredded old newspaper.
You have to lean against
fire.
a wall because it's taking it out of you, you know.
That's medicine, baby.
The same thing with protein powders. Oh man, you get the wrong one of those, it is a slog getting that thing down.
That's the thing. Then you're stuck with a 3-pound tub of protein powder.
A wheelbarrow full of protein powder in your dining room.
Yeah, I've rolled those dice and lost. Like, all right, I usually like a lot of the flavors from this brand. Okay, here we go.
I mean,
We're trying a new one.
I like salmon. Why wouldn't I like this salmon flavored protein powder?
I think the one I got burned hardest by was, I don't remember the brand, but it was a strawberry margarita flavor protein powder.
That is exotic.
And why I thought that would be good, I have no fucking idea. I don't know if I had just gotten a tax refund or something, but I was like, hell yeah, give me a 5-pound tub of that. Didn't buy the 3-pound, bought the 5-pound, and god damn it, have I never had worse protein powder in my life. I think that eventually just got thrown away.
Yeah, I've thrown a few 90% full tubs of protein powder in my day.
Honestly, I've gotten to a point, my go-to is vanilla, because it'll go with anything.
Yeah.
I can just put whatever I want in there.
Yeah, put a whatchamacallit in there, mix it up.
Protein shake, gonna have some Reese's peanut butter cups in it.
Just carefully unwrapping 7 Heath bars. Here we go.
Oh, this is gonna be real crunchy.
Yeah. Well, he worked the jaw. That was real good.
Marlin, a protein shake and a blizzard are not the same thing.
I just cut out the middleman. You cut out the protein.
You got 12 Oreos in there. Yeah, it's gonna be real good. Chocolate syrup. Homer goes to an all-night gym where apparently you don't need a membership because he just walks in and starts working out, which I thought was funny. And wouldn't you know it, Rainier Wolfcastle is there, and he's going to help Homer get buff. And Homer, to his credit, still a little flabby, but gets beefy.
Yeah. Like, I found it kind of off-putting, but good for him.
You didn't like Homer's rippling arms?
Yeah, I didn't like Muscle Homer.
I don't like Beef Homer.
Yeah, I don't like, and even the family was kind of like found it peculiar. Like, he was more of an oddity than an inspiration. Like,
yep.
And you're probably coming up to it too. But when they're like, he's like, try to find an ounce of fat on me. And Lisa grabs his love handle. Here, I found some. And then like Marge grabs some. And Lisa's like, I got some still. And then Maggie grabs his toe, and he goes, not that toe. Like, he has toes that are fatter than the rest.
Yeah. The Power Sauce executives, one of which played by the delightful Brendan Fraser, who I always like to see.
I did not know that.
Steve Weber being the other one.
Interesting.
As soon as his voice came, I was like, aha, there he is. God, he's so good on Doom Patrol on HBO. If you're not watching that,
Steven Weber is?
that. No, Brendan Fraser.
Okay. I was like, good for Steven Weber getting a role that relevant.
No, Brendan Fraser.
No. I like. He always seems like a good dude.
Yep. I got much Brendan Fraser love back from the Scrubs and Mummy days. So
yeah, he was in an interesting lower budget kind of art house movie called Gods and Monsters. If anyone's interested, with Ian McKellen.
Ooh, I like Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah. So I'm going to say right now, good chance you're just going to find it really boring, faithful listeners. But for those of you that want to see a movie where an elderly man is interviewed about the sins of his past for 2 hours, by all means, buckle up. You're in for a treat.
It's got Sir Ian McKellen, who is like top 5 most dreamy nights. So why not? So Power Sauce approaches Rainier Wolfcastle for a promotional stunt. They want him to climb the Murder Horn, which is an awesome mountain name. Super into the Murder Horn. And Wolfcastle's like, God, no, he's not going to do that.
That's suicide.
Yeah, but they convince Homer to, and I don't think it takes that much convincing. Grandpa has a tale about when he tried to climb it with his partner McAllister, and McAllister turned on him and threw him off the mountain. So Grandpa is warning Homer that this is a bad idea. Homer, of course, goes through with it anyway, because of course he does. And as he's departing and goes to walk up the mountain and he's saying goodbye to everyone, he says, "Goodbye, everybody. Don't touch my stuff."
Yeah.
I love that that's his farewell.
Yeah. We get Maggie in her star snowsuit, which you know I love.
Yeah. Big fan of Starfish Maggie.
Yeah.
Always fun.
That's an old gag. That's like season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps first episode, because that's a Christmas episode.
It's the Christmas one, so yeah, quite possibly. It's also my favorite Limp Bizkit album, Starfish Maggie. Could easily be a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
I was just gonna say that.
Look at that.
Quick draw Wells.
I beat you to it. Holy shit, not to take this train into the ditch. That doesn't make sense. Trains don't swerve into ditches. But as far as rock music and ridiculous naming conventions, have you had a chance to partake in the new Rob Zombie album that came out this past weekend?
Please tell me.
Christ on Sale. The name of the album is The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy.
Of course it is. Is that an acronym?
Yep.
Or that's just a bunch of crazy words thrown together?
That, as far as I can tell, is not an acronym for anything. And some of these fucking song titles, such as The Triumph of King Freak, and then in parentheses, A Crypt of Preservation and Superstition.
Don't ever change, Rob Zombie.
My personal favorite is track 7, which is actually a pretty good song. 18th Century Cannibals, Excitable Morlocks, and a One-Way Ticket on the Ghost Train. The first half of that song is a country song.
Is he just messing with his fan base?
I think so.
Because at this point, it's just the diehards. What do you want to cater to them? They're the ones that are paying your mortgage.
Yeah. The Ballad of Sleazy Rider, also a favorite of mine. Envision in your head for just a second what you think it sounds like, and you're 100% correct. It is.
I think I can also picture the album cover too.
Yeah, probably. I'm looking at it right now, and I bet you're pretty close. I bet a police artist could put it together from your description.
Yep.
I am, to clarify, not dunking on Rob Zombie because I love Rob Zombie.
I'm just going to say I'm on board as well.
And the album is pretty good as far as late model Rob Zombie records go. I think Hellbilly Deluxe 2 is better, but not by much.
Oh, good for him.
So, yeah, everyone, that concludes our Rob Zombie promotional material.
Yeah. You could find it at capitalrecords.com or check your favorite record store. I'm going to assume the check's
in the mail, Robert.
What would that be worth at this point? I sold 14 physical records last year.
Yeah, no shit, huh? The Power Sauce guys have set up a failsafe to where there's no way Homer can fail because this is all done to promote Power Sauce. They're sending 2 Sherpas up with Homer, and when Homer sleeps for the night, they're dragging him up the mountain.
Which is so great.
Yeah, he's just in his sleeping bag. They got a rope tied around his feet, just dragging him up this mountain. Yeah. Homer eventually catches wise to what's going on and fires the Sherpas and is just like, nope, get out of here. I can do it. Nobody believes in me. Homer's very indignant about all this. And the whole time also being like, I've got Power Sauce on my side because he's the only one who believes in Power Sauce. And once the Sherpas, they take off and they get back to the bottom of the mountain, and the executives for Power Sauce are completely dismayed because now they think he's gonna fail
and
so
die.
And die. So they disavow him at a press conference, just like, we're sad to report that Homer has signed on with this other energy bar company and he's probably gonna die.
Yeah.
If only he had stuck with Power Sauce.
I wish I could think of the competitor's name.
Yeah, I always like a good fake power bar or energy drink name are usually pretty good. Homer's making his way up the hill, starts tripping balls due to lack of oxygen. We haven't had a good tripping balls sequence in a while. Yeah. Probably not since the Johnny Cash Coyote episode.
Yeah, good catch.
Homer is up there on the mountainside, and the weather is real bad, so he ducks into a cave and finds McAllister's body, and it turns out that Abe was the shitheel in that pair. It turns out he tried to eat McAllister, and McAllister died, froze to death while trying to avoid Abe Simpson. Homer is just like, hey, I'm gonna give up. This is all the further I can make it. Can't go on. So he puts the Simpson flag that was from the Capture the Flag game at the beginning onto the spike and pounds it into the ground, which causes a tremor that makes everything above him slide off the far side of the mountain, meaning he is now on the top of the mountain, which I thought was a great gag.
Good visual, yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, he did. He's at the top of the mountain.
He did make it. Yeah. That's the top of the mountain. That's where the flag is. Yeah. So good. Homer comes tobogganing down the side of the mountain using McAllister's body as a sled.
He's even got his hands curled upwards, so it's like the front of a toboggan.
Up in the front. Yeah. Have you ever ridden in a toboggan?
Yeah, no good. You want?
I never have.
Well, we called any kind of long sled. We would call them a toboggan too, but a traditional wooden one with the curl in the front. Yeah, it's first off, you want edging so you can hold onto the edge and kind of use that to steer it a little bit too.
Well, and it just seems dangerous, that curl in the front. It just are you meant to brace? Are you meant to put your feet up on that or put them in it? Yeah. So it's every time I see a toboggan, I think that hits something and you're breaking every ankle that's ever been in
On
it.
the same note, for me, is like kids that had traditional sleds with like the two blade runners on the bottom. It's like, that's just going to dig in too much. I want a flat surface. Yeah, like...
Those, like, half-ass ice skate sleds.
Where are these kids using those at? Like...
I think they're using them in the 40s, and we've moved on. Yeah. I believe. I want to believe.
I mean, plastic is destroying the earth, but holy shit, did it make winter fun?
I also don't think I've ever ridden on a saucer, metal or plastic.
Bro, put that on the bucket list and put it high to the top. You get a saucer on a nice... It has to be a used hill, so it's got a little of that ice slick on it, man. You're going to want to chug some Mountain Dew Cold Red after that, because you are going to be extreme. You will catch mad air. Especially as a man of some renowned girth, I too I've done it a couple times as an adult, and boy, you slide in alarming a lot of ways. It's like, oh boy, I can't see my friends anymore. I guess I have to make new ones.
Somebody's going to have to pick me up.
I hope I got my phone with me.
Oh, God. And that's kind of the end of the episode. Homer made it up there, like, made it, but not really, but whatever. He made it. The flag's on top of the thing. I did note, I am surprised that they didn't go for the joke that popped up in my head, which was for this episode to end by showing the other side of the mountain and, like, seeing that landslide has, like, ruined Shelbyville or something.
Oh, my God, yeah. Like, I was very surprised, because they do that joke in an earlier season, too.
Yeah, and, like, when the credits started rolling, I was like, really? You're not going to do the okay.
No.
Like... I figured that was a shoe-in for an ending, but
bold choice.
Fuck me, I guess. This is why I'm not a Simpsons writer. In 1998.
I was in junior high.
Yeah, nothing to do with that. I was 13.
Yeah. Blossoming young man.
Boy, if that ain't the word for it. And that is this batch.
The sadness of thinking back to early adolescence. That should have been when that Janice Ian song kicked in. I learned the truth at 17. For beauty queens. One of us gently sobbing in the background. So every episode needs to end.
Oh, shit.
Oh. Good work, everyone.
Get it all out, buddy.
Whew, there we go. Did it.
That's another batch. We're almost done with season 9.
Yeah.
We got 2 more next week. Next week's episodes will be 24 and 25 from 9, and then 1, 2, and 3 from 10. Breaking on through to
double digits.
Season 10.
Yeah.
These were good ones. I was enjoying myself this week.
Yep, I'm with you. Look at that optimism. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, hoorah!
I was a gloomy Gus 3 weeks ago.
You were. You really were. You were a real wet blanket.
Yeah. It was more of a panic than a pessimism. I was like, oh man, like, I was like,
oh no,
yeah, I was like Hicks in the Alien Colonial Marines. Could not handle the ass kicking we just took. Like, I'm short, man. 5 weeks.
Game over, man.
Why don't we put her in charge? But now I've kind of gained it, and now we're at the final battle, and I got my gusto back, and maybe I'll die a heroic death on this podcast.
Yeah,
just like Hicks.
I'm rooting for you to have your Colonial Marine ending. Yeah,
I get pulled. If I do get pulled through the floorboards, make sure you throw a grenade down. I don't want to get cocooned, Marlin. Promise me you won't let me get cocooned.
Okay, I promise I won't let you get cocooned.
Yeah,
I promise to kill you.
We have to isolate that audio.
Marlin, you want to specify or qualify that? Nope.
No, I don't. Are we done here?
We are, frankly. We are done here.
Perfect timing.
You can check us out all over the internets at Barley Basket USA. That's how you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can email the show barleybasketUSA@gmail.com. Now on YouTube as well. We set that up a few weeks ago. So if you're one of these people who listens to podcasts via YouTube, which I don't understand, but whatever, you do you.
This is it.
I still maintain that you're the only one, Nathan, who does that, and I set up a YouTube channel just for you personally.
You're going to Melissa Etheridge me? You're going to only one me? I'll tell you. I can't believe I got Etheridge on my own podcast.
I'm blown away at a Melissa Etheridge reference to close it out.
Oh, I wish she had a song titled "Blown Away" so bad. Oh man, that would have been a Stockton to Malone to remember.
Holy shit!
For the hammer dunk. That was my Hot Rod Hundley impersonation, the longtime Jazz play-by-play man.
Boy, the fact that you're real specific. Real specific.
And the best is his nickname was Hot Rod because he was like a showboat when he played in the NBA in the early. What do you think being a showboat meant in the early 50s? Like he dribbled behind his back once in practice.
Mm-hmm. And the nickname stuck with him forever.
For 5 seasons. This charlatan is making.
Get out of here with that shit.
Passing the ball with one hand. Only chest passes for the Rochester Royals.
Bounce passes. Yeah. Coach is just pissed. I didn't storm Normandy so that you could
make a mockery.
Bounce the ball behind your back. You have any idea what it was like on those boats?
Here you are, head full of burl cream, thinking you're hot soup.
I see another head fake out of you. You're out of my gymnasium, sir.
This armory where we play professional basketball in.
I honestly, outside of the All-Star shenanigans, I have not been keeping up with basketball much lately. I'm a little ashamed of myself.
The Celtics have been struggling, so I've been kind of lackluster.
Okay.
But this week, March Madness begins, which I always enjoy.
That's college basketball. That doesn't count.
It's the only time of year I enjoy it. I just like the fact that every game's a must win. So even if I'm not invested, I can get into it if it's a close game. It's like,
yeah, I can see that.
There's Arkansas Tech or whatever you are.
I have trouble if I don't know any of the people I have trouble carrying, and there's like just enough rule differences to where I'm like, wait, why was that a foul? Or why is the clock still running?
I get that more with college football, like the things that there's no 2-minute warning. Like,
yeah, I have the same issue with college football, and much like you, it is worse with college football.
Yeah, like you only need 1 foot to be in bounds. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. So I March Madness doesn't do much for me, but I hope you enjoy it. It's not, again, time is meaningless right now, but my MLB TV subscription auto-renewed a couple weeks ago, so it's apparently coming up on that time of year.
I'm looking forward to that.
So I can watch Aaron Judge knock the shit out of some baseballs. I'm pretty into that.
Yeah, I'm already looking forward to that. Yeah, it's almost baseball time.
So we will do 5 more next week. We got sports both happening and on the horizon. Everyone enjoy themselves. Again, next week it is 24 and 25 of Season 9 and 1, 2, and 3 of Season 10. Leave us a review on iTunes if you like the show. That apparently helps us somehow. I don't know how, but it apparently pushes you to the top of the list. So if you leave a review and write a review, leave a star rating and write a review. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think they got it.
Yeah, I think so too. They know how the internet works.
They understand us.
You guys get it.
Go make us and the internet proud. Go leave some reviews.
Yeah, have at it. Thank you, Ohio. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.